Welcome back, everyone, to the North American LCS. Kobe and I are joined by TSM's Support X Special. How you doing?
Could be better. Wasn't cleanest game, but I mean, we came out on top, and that's always good to see.
So what went wrong?
Lots of things went wrong.
All right.
Bot lane, we didn't do as well as we usually do, and I think Bjergsen had a slightly rough start, but he sort of did well in the end. And then Darius came in really hard and just kind of smashed everybody, and for burning fire, Shyvana.
So I do want to start out the first question because they chose the Urgot Soraka lane because a lot of people haven't played against it. To you, what's the most important thing about laning against an Urgot Soraka lane that you have to keep in mind?
So most people haven't been playing against Soraka much, and they definitely haven't been playing against Urgot much. And people often forget how much damage Urgot does. And people don't also forget the philosophy against Soraka, which is don't focus one target. And that's what we kind of did improperly. Every time you focus Urgot, Soraka heals, 100 armor, you focus Soraka. That's how you're supposed to do it. But we weren't exactly doing it correctly, and we often fought without Ignite, and it was just really messy. We lost a lot of fights bottom in the 3v3 with the jungler, and that was not good at all.
What do you feel about a Soraka support in general? Do you like the pick? Is it strong?
It's definitely a niche pick. It works really well with Urgot because Urgot just does so much damage early on, and Soraka is weak early on, and they kind of make up for each other for make up their weaknesses. But again, Soraka is okay late game, and Urgot is just non-existent. And that's kind of what happened. Once they lost their lead, there was just no coming back.
What do you think about the strategy of not targeting any bans at Bjergsen and letting him have his choice of all mid lane picks as if you were giving tips to people going up against TSM?
Oh, dude, I welcome it. I should tell him to not ban out Bjergsen. Actually, just don't do any bans.
Just don't ban.
Well. Yeah,
Good tip.
But yeah, Bjergsen he really likes that LeBlanc. He does really well on it, and even though he got ganked early on, he died first blood. He still came back hard, and he just did really well against the Fizz. And Fizz, I mean, he is more of a mid-game champion, and he just got destroyed. Late game, no effect. Like, we just never gave Fizz the opportunity to go in. Yeah. And we played around Fizz, and Bjergsen just played really well in his lane, and we were really happy with that.
So I actually want to ask you, what does it mean to play around Fizz? What do you do as a team?
Yeah, so Fizz, he's different from a lot of AP champions. For example, LeBlanc, right? She goes in, goes back out. There is like a sort of process where she has to go in, but she can also get out of a fight instantly. Fizz, on the other hand, he has to go in and he stays in. He has no spells to get out from. And what that means is that when we constantly move back and kite back, and Fizz is constantly chasing us, he has no chance to attack us, and that's how we won our fights, but not giving Fizz a target to attack.
Oh, it's nice. So actually, let's kind of put that into practice here. We have a replay of a team fight on the river about 24 minutes in. If we can get that on the screen, especially if you want to take us through this battle.
All right, so I don't know when this is, but okay. So Pantheon's kind of got caught here, and he just explodes. He didn't get to initiate, and we were in a position where I don't know. Darius is just super fed, and he just does so much damage. And I was surprised I didn't go down first. I think Audron died really early, but literally all we did was focus Pantheon, and then we just keep focusing. Darius does so much AoE damage. Turtle is still in the back. He didn't take any damage at all, and we just finished off target because we have Sivir all to chase, and then we landed good hooks, and we literally just won because Darius is so fed. And we weren't giving, like, nobody died to Fizz except for Audron, which is okay.
Yeah, whatever. Odd one dying is not important. Good hook, of course, finishes it up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we got, Dragon off this. Yeah, we were kind of hesitant with our calls there. We actually were thinking about going to Baron, but then we saw the Pantheon was coming back up, and he saw it all. It was just like, it's really weird playing against a Pantheon jungle because he has that global and he has Smite, so it makes it really hard to do objectives like Baron quickly.
Yeah, so what if this EG plan had really worked out? Like, they had a really good plan coming into this game. If you go up against like a Fizz that gets going and a Pantheon jungle, how would you guys have reacted if the early game was a bit tougher?
If it was even harder than that, it would have been hard to come back. But fortunately, Bjergsen on LeBlanc, like LeBlanc beats Fizz in the lane 1v1 for sure, and Fizz is not supposed to get ahead, but if for some reason Fizz managed to get ahead, it would have been really hard for us to come back because what happened is they would just run on us, they have Soraka all and stuff like that, and we would, like, Fizz was just kind of two-shot people, and our only way to fight this would be to just constantly come back, use Sivir to run away, and use Talisman to run away, and just constantly throw spells at them, and hopefully they get chased down far enough where they have nowhere to run, and we can slowly turn them. There is no way we can fight that 5v5 without having to run away.
Okay, so then I want to ask you what sort of happened as you got into the mid game, because you did get ahead, you got a bit of a lead, and Krepo had said that the team comp they were running, if they got behind, they would probably stay behind, and they started forcing things really hard, like crazy Pantheon jumps, a lot of all-ins, just like swaps for single kills. How do you fight against a team that just like turns it on super aggressive mid game?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we knew that they want to fight Dragon and stuff like that, and we knew the only way we can fight is if we constantly kite back. And that's really the game plan that we had. It was just literally don't give them a target to hit. We told Darius, he's Shyvana, right? Usually you dive in Shyvana. No, don't do that. Just hit the closest target. Let Turtle, let Auto AoE, let Bjergsen just kill one target super, super fast. And that way we were not like running the Straka heals and just slowly getting poked down. It's so they're the ones getting poked down, not us. And that's the only way we can fight it, because this is how strong a team comp is in an actual 5v5.
Okay, so then moving on, you guys, of course, had a good game by the end of it all. You come through, you win this one. You're sitting here at the top of the standings. How do you keep yourselves in prime shape? How do you keep from slipping a game?
It's really tough. Honestly, our game against Cloud9 was really close. Even this game was fairly close. We were like, after I think we lost Dragon, like maybe 2 kills really early into the game, our communication kind of shut down a little bit. But it was really just the team being like, hey guys, their team comm is early game. We're mid game, late game. Just make sure we hold out, keep laning phase, don't die anymore, and we're going to be okay. And then that's kind of what happened. And we were just really lucky that their team con just doesn't scale into mid and late game, and we managed to win because our mid and late game were just better.
So I got Crepo's thoughts on the Saint Vicious support that's going to come up here pretty soon. I want to get your thoughts, too. Have you actually played against it at all? What's your experience with the Saint support?
Yeah, surprisingly, I was in a game, and Saint was last pick. I usually play support in solo queue, and Saint was like, hey man, I want support. I'm like, sure. I pick AD, I go with Saint. I think we get dumpstered bottom super hard. I think we were like 3 and like 12 or something. We were doing decent early on, but then once like knowing when ganks are gonna come in, knowing how to fight like level 6s with ults, just knowing just the little things about support that people don't usually know, Saint doesn't have yet. I mean, he might have learned it by now, but at the same time, it's something that takes a lot of time to learn, and usually people don't get it in a couple weeks.
So you're going to be matching up against him tomorrow. How are you going to take advantage of that lack of knowledge that he has?
I just hope he goes down bottom 2v2, and we can show Turtle, or we can show Saint with Turtle, just how bot lane's supposed to be played.
Wow. All right. So then, got a question for you. Our Twitter question we'd asked our audience. I want to ask you as well. Who from the NALCS outside of TSM would you duo queue with, and why is it Saint Vicious?
Well, I mean, sometimes like you don't want to win all your games. Like if you want to drop out a challenger or something, then yeah, it's great.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. No, it's just like he plays support, I play support. It's just not the right person to dual queue with.
But who would you actually play with?
Oh, that's a tough question. There's lots of players that are good, right? I mean, okay, so outside TSM, I think LMQ's AD, Vasily, he's actually really good. He plays really aggressive. I like that. He kind of goes for risky plays. He plays really similar to Turtle, but I think Turtle just beats him in terms of mechanics. So, I mean, I would say Turtle, of course, but then, Vasily, he's a close second. He has that aggressive playstyle that I like to see. Just doesn't have the mechanics back it up yet.
All right, so one final question for you. What are the goals of TSM this season?
I mean, really, the goal is going to be the same for all teams, win Worlds, right?
Okay.
And for TSM, it's really, like, we want to win Worlds. At the same time, we want to really get ahead of the NA scene. And do that, we need to do really well this split, do really well next split, and hopefully do well Worlds. And that's, again, that's our goal. But the first step is really just to dominate NA scene and then move on from there.
All right, Special, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win, and we'll see you against Curse tomorrow. Guys, we got more games, so let's send it back to the desk with Riv and Jat for the play-by-play of the last game of the day.
Thank you very much, Freak. Yes, indeed, we have more games. It's our final LCS game of the day. I Will Dominate and Curse versus Crumbs, Team Dignitas.
Yeah.
Chat, this is the first time this split. These teams are facing off.
Yeah, last team to play each other, but listen, these teams have a rather long and tangled history. I kind of want to get into this because some people don't know. Anyway, Boy used to be the top laner for Dignitas. Now he is the mid laner for Curse. Cop, the AD carry for Curse, actually first played competitively as a AD carry sub for Dignitas against Curse and was picked up after the game. And it keeps going. Crumbs used to be the jungler for Curse. He left to become the top laner for Dignitas. When Crumbs left, he was actually replaced by Saint Vicious as the jungler of Curse. Then when Saint retired, he was replaced by I Will Dominate, who was the former jungler of Dignitas. But today, Saint's supporting for Curse, and Crumbs is jungling for Dignitas. These teams have bounced back and forth.
So that means it's Crumbs in the library with the revolver.
Absolutely.
All right, we got it.
It's ridiculous when you think about how much these teams have swapped players, because both these teams, with most of these players, have been around the competitive scene for a really long time.
Well, at least you know where the talent is.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting recycled. They're two teams that have intertwined history, but they also share a mutual respect. And Dignitas even credits Curse with some of the champion innovation we've seen so far this split.
Going into the season, I thought that Dignitas was going to be sort of middle of the pack, but they've really outdone themselves. They are like top 3 right now, at least in the standings, and I think that they are looking to be a pretty strong team.
I think Team Curse has a really interesting pick ban phase. Like, they prioritize certain champions over others, and they're definitely one of the first teams to introduce stuff like Wukong, Karthus top, Akali middle, stuff like that.
I definitely think that they're strong, but in scrims for some reason they seem to like underperform. Like, they'll do just a lot of random things that I can't see them doing in like a pressure situation. So we normally beat them in scrims, but I expect it to be a completely different game on LAN.
All right, so with that, I expect it to be totally different. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I will dominate an extremely aggressive jungler. St. Vicious, I expect to be a very aggressive support. This might be a bloodbath.
Smite on support isn't aggressive.
If he brought Smite on support, it would be rather amusing.
All right, let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is Curse. Quas in that top lane, Dominate in the jungle, Voyboy in mid, Comp at 80 carry, St. Vicious on support.
Yeah, big surprise there. On the red side, it is Dignitas. Cruiser in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Scar in mid lane. I'm a Cutie Pie on AD, and Kiwi Kid laughing as always on support.
And we got to remember, last week, Voyboy was not feeling well. We actually had to kind of cancel out picks and bans because of the seriousness of how he was feeling at that time, and it affected his game. First blood was about 2 minutes to 3 minutes in.
Yeah, Voyboy felt really bad about that. He said he cost his team the game later in a tweet, but it's a big bounce back week for Voyboy. He's always someone who's responded very well to adversity. He's bounced around teams a little bit, Dignitas to CLG to Curse, then he does the lane swap, but he is always one of those players who's able to bounce back and come in strong. Crazy
He performs.
aggressive.
He does perform. A lot has been put on his shoulders. He's commonly recognized as the a player that can sway the game and completely turn the way it's going. The Kali play, other champions that he brings out, allows him to do that. The bans now, that red side cast it in, but the Kale going out for Skara here.
Yeah, that's a rather interesting ban right there against him. It's obviously been banned. How many times?
4 times.
Banned 4 times against Dignitas. So it's definitely one of his main champions. I wonder if they're a ban of Gragas as well, as long as they seem to be targeting mid lane champions.
Yeah, Gragas was kind of that win that fueled them coming into this. It's really just been, like we said, that train on the tracks moving at full speed. They keep shoveling the coal in. Could be one more game here against Curse, a team that's kind of trying to find themselves still.
Yeah, Curse has been struggling a fair bit so far. Dignitas has recovered from their struggles. If they don't ban Pantheon, I think Curse takes it right away here. Just knowing how successful they were when I will dominate jungle.
And we just saw what Snoopy could do with it. They were really setting up the early part of the game, but weren't able to make the moves late game. We'll see if it turns out to be different here. The last ban coming in is Wukong.
So, surprisingly, yeah, there's the first pick, Pantheon. Surprisingly, Wukong is a champion Owl Dominate's played twice, defeated both times on it.
Yeah.
So, very actually surprising move there by Dignitas. They just fear the Wukong more so than the Pantheon.
Yeah, it looks like Kiwi Kid's Annie got banned out this game. He's going to be forced onto Thresh, but they take that for him right away, seeing that Curse doesn't grab up the support for Saint.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what St. Vicious ends up doing here.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I mean, he made Challenger playing nothing but support in solo queue, but one really interesting thing I find about St. Vicious is how damn aggressive he plays on support and how much he dies. He actually averages 6 deaths a game in solo queue on support. Obviously competitive is a slightly lower death environment, so expect that to go down a bit. But I think he's going to be all in almost all the time.
We'll see. You can still really be making plays for your team if you are dying. It doesn't mean that you had a terrible game. We'll see if he can actually put himself in that situation, because it's a tough one to have. Vi being picked up on the side of Crumbs. That's going to be his 3rd play on that. 2 wins. So why not make it a 3rd? Looking over at Cop. He's been liking
Both
this
these picks would be great. That is so good for Curse right now. Not only do they get Draven for Cop, which he is successful, and you can see how pumped I Will Dominate is. Getting the Gragas away from Dignitas is huge.
Yep.
Scarlet, monstrous Gragas player. It is pretty much far and away his favorite champion. I think Scar might default back onto something like a Karthus, even though Karthus is really not that good against Gragas. Just can't say enough about picking that away from Scar. I think he was going to go for that 100% if Chris didn't take it there.
And that's strong for Voyboy. We know him as one of the top laners that would also take Gragas as well into that lane when it was viable. So, and even if it is now, could do it.
What if they quassed it in the top
What
lane?
if they quassed it? Why not? Curse is a team that would actually do that. Quass, we still don't know much about him. He plays strong and he will win his lane, but I don't think he's shown us everything yet.
No, he's played a few unconventional things. He's the guy who's taken Karthus into the top lane.
Yeah.
Oh, Yasuo. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, yeah, whoa.
Maybe it actually is a Gragas in the top lane.
We'll have to see. These are some awesome picks coming out. Saint, he gets himself a bit of an aggressive support.
Yeah, the Alistair I'll get to in a minute as well, because this makes the last pick for Dignitas all the more scary. They don't know what they're laning against. It could be a Gragas or a Yasuo. If it is a Yasuo, Diana would be spectacular against it, I think, because she can close through the wind wall and then hit him with all of her spells.
Get that lockdown affected.
I believe the wind wall strips off Diana's W when she jumps through it, so he would have to wait if he did that. What?
Whoa.
So Voyboy actually played Akali against Yasuo and destroyed. It was against ManCloud.
Yeah. Back in week 1.
Skara has played Akali before. He is very good at it. This is going to go way back in time. 2011 IPL 3. He played Akali almost the entire tournament from the top lane and destroyed people with it. So he knows how to get going on Akali, even if he has to dip into his past to do so.
I love these picks so far coming from the teams. We are going to get Quas on Gragas coming into this, so a whole lot of new coming from both teams. Voyboy, I believe, has seen some Yasuo play. He does have a win on it, so we'll see if he can go strong in this game. You said the Akali matchup was in favor of Voyboy last team.
Oh yeah, it's in favor of the Akali,
yeah,
most likely.
Right.
Skara ends up playing this one. These team compositions are damn exciting to watch right now. Also, the fact that St. Vicious is on Alistair, absolute frontliner
on
at
support.
this point.
On support, got to remind.
On support.
It's not jungle Alistair.
There's a whole boatload of crowd control coming out from Curse to hopefully support Yasuo and Gragas in the solo lanes. I'll delve into the team comps a bit more later because these are really exciting.
Well, while the voting happened, I don't think any of that was taken into consideration.
No, the voting happens before.
The voting happens before, so let's check in with LOLesports.com to see who you did vote for before those picks. And it's 68% of you think that Dignitas are going to come out on top, our closest vote of the day.
Yeah, well, with the winning streak that Dignitas has been on, I'm actually a little surprised it's not a higher number, but people are still trying to figure out if Dignitas is for real or not, because they've went on this amazing win streak after everyone had written them off at the start of the year. They haven't, other than Cloud9, they haven't really taken out the titans of the LCS yet. This is just another win they have to take to continue their streak.
I think it's only Team Solo Mid who's beaten everybody, right?
Yeah, in a row.
In a row,
exactly.
right.
Dignitas will have to take out Team Solo Mid a little bit later if they want to continue.
They got to wait. They do have a big 3-game weekend since their bye week. Dignitas is coming in with a heavy schedule, and this is the second game of the day for Dignitas. And we'll see what Curse can do in their first game of the day. They have been watching and waiting for this to go down. We are on to the Rift. We see Cruiser getting his Mundo again. He played it earlier, got the win, looking to make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, Curse's team composition is well balanced damage-wise, but in a slightly different way than you'd expect. A lot of times when teams want to play Yasuo in the mid lane, they have trouble fitting in magic damage for the rest of their team comp, and especially when you consider a Pantheon jungle, you'd think Curse is going to have a real struggle doing it.
Yeah.
Very few AP top laners are played. Normally something like Rumble would be what you would see, but the Gragas, big surprise pick, and I really like it against a Mundo. I really do think that Curse picked the Gragas, thinking Voyboy could go mid lane if he wanted to with it.
And then they see
once they saw the Mundo, they said, all right, we're doing this top lane. Because Dr. Mundo is a very non-interactive laner. He will basically just try and survive and farm, which means that Quas can completely survive in that top lane and farm to monstrous proportions.
A body slam, keeping him safe in the long lane. Usually you don't
if he
see
wants
that.
to escape.
Right. He starts with the Doran's Ring. So it looks like they're going to keep themselves just farming as you would. Cleaver's Barrels, looking around the map though. Both teams are kind of a poke comp, or pick comp, I'm sorry. How is that going to work out as they come to the game? It's just going to be a bloodbath.
There's a lot of assassination potential, absolutely. And very squishy people. As far as Curse is concerned, the Alistair is the only one with the potential to be very tanky, unless Quas does something crazy on Gragas, which means if Curse falls behind, I think they're in more trouble than Dignitas would. They have a lot of damage follow-up. They have a lot of people who can dive in, but if they're all diving in while they're squishy, they're going to get peeled really hard by Kiwi Kid's Thresh and not necessarily be able to take much out of it.
We see Kiwi Kid with the sweeper to start as well on his side. Looks like they're going to keep a little bit more control of that brush in the bottom lane and not allow too many engagements. We said Saint was going to be aggressive, and that's a good way to keep it down.
Yeah, Alistair is actually not that strong of a laner. He is more about his team fight presence. I think Cop and St. Vicious are going to be playing very passive. Cop's just going to be worrying about getting his adoration stacks. We're going to keep tabs on these because Cop is one of the best people at stacking adoration stacks.
We saw that
He had a game earlier in the LCS where he had 650. And there was a fight around the Baron pit where he was like an inch away from getting kills 4 or 5 times, was never able to get it, and then he lost half of his adoration stacks. But anyway, he's going to be stacking adoration. St. Fish is going to be defending and peeling for him. And when they get gank support from Owl Dominate, then they go aggressive. But outside of that, they will be super passive.
When they get this right here, that gank support, PewDiePie
like
keeping
this.
it safe. Can he get the Aegis on? You're definitely in jump range, but is the team ready? He wants to make sure they can follow up. They flash for Kiwi Kid, going in very strong there. They get his flash, but he doesn't go very far. The red buff is on. The headbutt is there. The kill for Cop. First blood.
Well, he cashed in on his adoration right there. It just wasn't very much because he hadn't stacked in so long. But that's exactly what they're trying to do in that lane. They play on their back feet until Owl Dominate comes in, and then they stack the CC. They got both the jump stun from Pantheon and the pulverize from Alistair before Kiwi Kid could flash away, and it allowed them to secure the kill.
Very interesting choice to blow everything off a Kiwi Kid on that one. They don't go for the Cutie Pie.
Well, it's because Cutie Pie would have been able to flash and dash away, which means they couldn't have closed after he flashed, which means that was the only guaranteed kill they could get.
Considering every in and out of the fight before Curse came in, and it showed with the kill. First blood under 4 minutes. We'll see what they can keep doing. We've seen the early aggression of Pantheon paying big today in each game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's such a feared pick. So many team compositions, especially when they're squishy like this, really rely on getting ahead early. Pantheon is just the perfect guy to fit into that puzzle.
See what Cop can do. He gets it back, a quick scepter, so he's going to have that damage advantage in lane. He's nicely pushed, so they go back at the perfect time. Already about a 700 gold lead coming in here. Yeah. Curse is going to try to keep extending this. Looks like Pantheon may be making a head towards mid.
Yeah, as Quas actually putting a lot of harass down, knowing there's no gank pressure up there regardless. But about the mid lane, I'm a little surprised Scar started with Cloth Armor 5 potions. He's got a gank coming in. He's going to have to burn flash at least.
There's a stun going down. The Shroud's going to be there. Sane is also roaming middle. There's the headbutt into the wall. And the pulverize, knowing that the wall would stun him up a little bit. Beautifully and calmly played.
Level 3 roam by St. Vicious after they shoved up the lane. Caught Scar completely off guard at that point. That is something that ZCant probably would not have done in this situation.
Nope.
Saint shot calling, ganking, jungler instinct coming in right there, comboing a gank with Owl Dominate.
Well, you said the laning phase for Alistar wouldn't be that strong, so.
The roaming phase sure is.
The roaming phase coming up with some big kills. 1,000 gold in the lead now. Crumbs being called with Kiwi Kid to middle. They are causing Dig to react heavily here.
Yeah, what an impressive roam right there, shutting down Skara. Scar wanted to rush the Seeker's arm guard. That's why he started with a cloth armor instead of a Doran shield.
Smart.
But he ended up dying. The extra health and the health regen from the Doran shield may have saved him in that situation.
Like you
Tricky
said,
call.
Maybe not a call we would have seen with ZCant in the game. So that voice proving useful so far with St. Vicious on support. The teleport back for Cruiser in the top lane, and Quaz, he's not been doing too bad in this lane.
Yeah, that's, like I said, non-interactive lane.
Right.
From Mundo. So Quas is free to farm. He's actually out-farming Cruiser. Mundo gets out-farmed by almost everything at this point. When he transitions down, it's going to be very important. But the Dignitas composition is actually something we haven't talked about much. They're way more conventional when we consider it. They can have double tanks that dive in with Cruiser and Crumbs. They can be the tank buddies that go in and just try and brute force down Cop. Kiwi Kid is going to try and peel the assassins off from Curse, and a lot of it will really just hinge on how farmed Scar gets, because Scar and Vi going in together, if they can't finish off Cop like right away, it's going to be trouble. Cop will finish them off. Voyboy will be unleashed onto the backline and destroy I'm a Cutie Pie, and so much actually hinges on Scar's strength in this game.
Well, they're going to have a lot of threats to focus here, depending on how big Quas gets. Dominate's going to be doing damage. Voyboy and Cop on Yasuo and Draven, so Curse really looking to bring the pain to these fights. We'll see if Dignitas can get themselves big enough and defended enough before that happens. Cop 32 to 56 in that bottom lane, so the back kind of hurting there.
That's kind of the
lost his roamer.
The thing that happens when you lose your support to mid lane. Obviously, Curse puts a lot of importance on helping out Yasuo in that lane, since Akali can decimate him. under the right circumstances. And that is the price they pay. They're losing heavily. If we think back, even though Curse was able to get a kill, they were losing that lane pretty badly before. Like, as we said, Alistar's not a good laner.
Right.
So Curse definitely getting pushed into it.
And as you said, that Akali versus Yasuo has been swapped in the top and the mid lane because they didn't like it either.
Yeah, they're getting completely out of that. This is nice, too. It's mainly a swap due to the itemization. The Seeker's Arm Guard is not effective against Quas's Gragas, and he might be able to blow Scar up now.
Very well played.
Especially
the jump
with
to
this.
the middle.
There is a
Scar.
counter gank coming,
Do they
though.
have a pink ward? They have 2 pink wards to be used in this. Skara gets hit up quite hard, but the assault battery comes in big. He dives right back into the fight, and he thinks he's going down, but he doesn't. Very nice, and the excessive force damage coming in. Quas almost going down here. Is he going to go under? They got the red buff. He turns the other way. You faker.
Well, 1 for 1 right there. Kill onto... Wait, who was the kill on? Gragas.
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at the mid laner.
Huzzah.
Got
Well, he is in
confused
the
for a
mid
sec.
lane now.
And onto Skara. So I'd say that was just a nice counter gank by Crumbs. You usually get destroyed by Pantheon's ganks because you can't really predict where they go. You can't see them coming. But knowing that Curse had already kind of showed their hand, that they were trying to shut down Skara, not only did they do a roam up early on in the game, they're now doing a Pantheon gank and a lane swap. It just meant some good stuff from him. Great punch by Crumbs. He stopped the jump from I Will Dominate with his Vault Breaker.
That could not have been timed any better. And Skara doing it as he should. Much damage before you die.
Yeah. Just cannot really peel Akali. She has too many jumps.
She got bounced, what, 800 range out of the fight. Right
Come
back
right
in.
back.
Punch you in the throat.
No problem.
9 minutes into the game. 3-1 here. It's about 700, 900 gold lead. They're going to be getting it pretty well for themselves. Looks like Curse will just be taking these jungle camps. Dominate's going to wait for that ultimate to come back up. And we can see that Voyboy quite close to a static ship. Already has that Zeal up.
Yeah. That's the item Yasuo generally goes for. Double crit on Yasuo just by his passive. Crit chances doubled, which means people go static ship Infinity Edge and 5% crit on their rune page, which is what Voyboy does, to reach 100% crit and get the reliable damage.
Looking at the build from Cop. Starting with the pickaxe himself with that early back and the kills that he got. He was looking for damage in the lane. He's facing up against Cutie Pie, who's got his BF sword on one of his first backs. And that CS lead still in the bottom lane and also in the jungle. But we have to consider that Dominate has been affecting the lanes with ganks.
Absolutely right here. Cop, Adoration stacking up for him, actually. Sitting on a lot of stacks. You can actually see those I Will Dominate waiting in the wings. His Pantheon ultimate is up. Here it comes again.
That's what he was waiting for, Jack. Going in, the lantern. Oh, he's
cancel it. Everybody calm down.
God, everybody's fooling
He decided
today.
not to. Keep jungling. But when he canceled it that early, like before the enemy can see it, its cooldown isn't really crushed. It's a 5-second cooldown. He can come again.
Oh, he can come again, but this time Crumbs is on the backside. They were feeling this, and it looks like it is going to be right into Kiwi Kid. He goes to blow his flash. The exhaust is still down for him to use. He uses it. The Draven ulti coming through. Cutie Pie looking to take down Dominant, and they go very hard in the 2v1 in him. Cop now being the focus. St. Vicious looking. Oh, he flashes to pulverize. He can't even get the chance to do it. Cop goes down, though. They trade 80 carry for 80 carry in the retribution kill, and it just leaves Crumbs insane.
Yeah, but Cop got both of those kills cashed in. He had about 140 stacks of Adoration before that one and got some big money off of that gank. He is going to be a very strong Draven right now. If we actually look at the gold, he is ahead of I'm a Cutie Pie by 300 despite being down in the lane. So I'd say very successful gank once again by I Will Dominate and St. Vicious. Yeah, just they lock down Kiwi Kid so fast. They jump right onto him, and they hit him in the dead center, which means that Pantheon ult does more damage. And just watch how Cop catches axes throughout this. It's ridiculous. He even caught that one as Crumbs went through him. It's why Cop is so good at Draven. He played it all throughout the summer split, trying to get this going. Always able to get one after the other, keep both of them spinning, and just enough damage at the end to take him down.
He almost lived there. That was a minion kill
really
from all of the auto attacks that were in the air there. Great job catching the axes.
Dignitas was able to take the dragon, obviously.
Yeah,
we
the
saw
dragon
the lower
after
tip.
that.
Keep the gold close in this game, which is incredibly key to stop Curse from just destroying this game with their global gank pressure from I Will Dominate. Not to mention how they have so many squishy people. Quas, AP Burst on Gragas, comboed up with Yasuo. It's going to be very tricky.
They're doing a great job of keeping the vision up so they are the first ones to act on these fights and not be caught off guard. You see in the bottom lane, few wards, just the regular wards to keep them safe. And Cop, he is kind of waiting. He doesn't have anybody to babysit him right now, so he can't farm this.
Yeah, he's getting abandoned a fair bit, but he's getting the help when he needs it.
Yep.
It is a fair trade if you're an AD carry right now. Your farm isn't all that matters. A lot of times it's your kills. Got the wave stacked up. Catch a few more axes.
It's very interesting purchases from Curse here. A lot of consumable wards being purchased. The rush of the Talisman of Ascension with no Sightstone and Vision for Saint.
Yeah, he is definitely trying to take his presence throughout the map. This is something some Alistar players like to do when they're ahead, is just rush the Talisman. Alistar is all about move speed. It's about getting into range for a headbutt and pulverize. And additionally, it's about the cooldown reduction. It's the best stat you can have on Alistar, since he is so reliant on his headbutt and pulverize.
Right.
The closer you get to 40%, the more effective you become. I think we're just going to see another...
Yeah, the man
Pantheon
drops
right here.
one
Yep.
after the other. A vicious cycle here. It's going to be the Lancer. A very nice
Goodbye.
play as well, but it's not going to be enough. The culling. Cutie Pie puts himself in the fight. He says, oh, I think he's a turret. I want to take that
Cruiser's
down.
here.
Cruiser comes in. Here comes Crumbs. Flashes. Assault and battery into the fight as well. An excessive force will be used against this Curse squad. They are going to get one. They are going to get two. Saint looks to do what he can as a mad cow, and he looks to dodge the last cleaver.
All right, 2 for 2, but the teleport did have to be used by Cruiser right there, and it's crazy. Where I was thinking about how much adoration we're going to count for Cops. This is going to be great. He doesn't have big stacks of it because he's getting so many damn kills in lane at this point. Curse, though, more pressure out of that one. They did not have to use the teleport. They get a turret in return, and they trade the 2 kills for 2.
First world problem. Too many stacks, too many kills.
And just look how fast they burst down Kiwi Kid. He has almost no chance in these ones. Well-targeted man drops by I Will Dominate. I'm a Cutie Pie, definitely trying to stay and wait for Crumbs to come in. Very close to being able to turn this one around. Just got bursted down right before Crumbs could come in. And there was very little the Curse could do to a monster Mundo who came in at that point.
Saints Alistar play really on
It's been
point.
pretty good.
The headbutts
Yeah.
into the wall is fantastic because you get that extra bit of just kind of lockout, and then you pulverize him into the ground. Making sure he's getting everything he needs as Void Boy and Cruiser going back and forth up top. Cruiser knows there's some damage to be had there. The static shift is finished, and even if Akali comes up, pink wards are had to be exiting or entering these fights for the kill.
Yeah, and Yasuo is very dangerous at this stage in the game. Laning phase, generally in the mid game, is what's weak for Yasuo. Yasuo's got a very strong level 1 to 3 because his E can do so much damage early once you stack up a few dashes with it. But then he needs his items to bring him back in the late game. And he has a static shift now. He needs to get his Infinity Edge before he becomes powerful again. But based on the fact that he's sitting on that 1 kill, has more farm than the enemy mid laner in Skara, means that things are going very well for Voidboy's Yasuo right now.
Very well indeed. If you have an Akali jump on you right now, there's enough power on Curse to explode Skara. He has been very docile on an Akali for this portion. He hit 6 quite a bit ago.
Yeah. There's not too much impact that's been seen by Skara. I think a lot of it just had to do with how pressured he got early on in lane. He's also been mitigated greatly by the fact that they swapped Gragas into his lane after he had itemized for Yasuo.
That was a great move.
Yeah, really just adding insult to injury there with that lane swap.
Looking at Quas, 100, 154, and you got to consider it's kind of between Cruiser's CS and Skara's CS as those lanes were swapped, but he's still winning, and he's still providing some great play. We've always looked at him on Curse to say, when is he going to come out? And it's just consistent. Maybe it won't ever be amazing. He's always been a good player.
Yeah. Cobb, always, forever on Curse. Doing well, honestly. Bloodthirster, Last Whisper coming soon. He's going to be doing a truckload of damage, I think, in some of these fights. Knowing that St. Vicious is just leading the way.
That's been an
talent.
Interesting Alistar.
Good.
The early roam, fantastic
They're always
play.
just waiting for these ganks. I mean, how many more ganks will I Will Dominate have to do? I almost feel like Crumbs has a timer going off in his head now. He's played Pantheon. He knows the cooldown of Grand Skyfall, and he's waiting for it to come again because this has happened 2 or 3 times already. Crumbs is trying to preempt it this time.
They're waiting in the shadows right now.
Oh,
this is going to
so
be a
clever.
perfect counter.
Curse expects a counter, so they're sending more people. They know the teleport's down at this point.
Well, it's 30 seconds for Dragon, so something will happen eventually. That's easy enough to say, right?
I think something will happen eventually. That's a safe call.
Made it. All right, now we
2,000
just
gold
watch.
lead still. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2,000 gold lead. It's those items that's maybe keeping Dig at bay right now from those initiations, waiting for Curse to kind of walk into the wrong spot and explode them out of these fights. They've been trying bottom over and over again.
I think it's
to no avail.
Good place to focus their ganks, knowing that mid lane is kind of won by the fact that Scar is playing so passively against Quas's Gragas. And Cop wants to keep getting those adoration stacks going. Sitting on 82 of them right now, 84.
So Hextech Gunblade finished up on the side of Skara. We have a BF sword coming out for Void Boy, so they're a little bit of damage on top of that crit now. And it looks like they will start to posture for this dragon.
This is a very large moment in the game. Uh-oh, Quas.
Whoa! Quas gets hit up immediately. Is the pink ward going to go down? No, it is not there for them yet. Skara, wait, Quas stays alive! In the backside, he lives with about 10 HP. St. Vicious comes in. Cutie Pie can't even move. Instantly suffocated in the fight. And a great collapse from Curse.
Quas just an inch away from death, but then gets his full burst out onto the Dignitas team. They destroy them in that team fight and secure another dragon in just a blink of an eye.
Gotta be careful when you're fighting a drunk man. They can do some pretty crazy things. 400 gold, 1,000 gold. Yes, my brain works. In the lead right now with that dragon with the man drop. Grand Skyfall. Saint, are you in range? The flash, the flay, the Aegis, and now the headbutt. Wait a minute. That's
wrong way. Yep.
No one saw that.
No, Kiwi Kid with the timely flash. Made St. Vicious hit him in the wrong way. Let's check out this team fight. Quas gets caught blinded here. You think they could finish him off, but then he gets down both his Q and his R, which then makes cleanup an easy thing. Pantheon gets crits on people that are 15% lower. Void Boy even saves his ultimate because Cutie Pie was on his way over to help support, and everything fell apart because they weren't able to burst Quas down immediately. If we think about that fight,
that was crazy.
In a world where Quas does die, everything actually goes the other way. I'm a Cutie Pie's realm works.
Oh, Void Boy, wow, he goes to the other side. Now back through his wall. He's trying to work the wind, but he can't cut it just right.
Not that slippery.
Nope.
There's a fist with his name on it right there. Assault and Battery finishes off Void Boy real easy. At least Dig gets a little something back. They needed it.
And something I got to mention on the last fight, as we just see Quas for a second.
Go for it.
He was fully drank on his Drunken Rage there. Fully popped up.
Yeah,
if he was not, he would have died. So they kind of used him as a sentry. They're like, you go walk in here.
You got to get into the habit of just constantly using your W anytime it's up, because you don't know when being drunk's going to come in handy.
When does it come in handy?
When you're driving. It's usually never a good thing.
Well, technically they're in the driver's seat, so
there you go.
They made it work. 20 minutes on the clock, 9-6, 4,000 gold in the lead. And it looks like they're only ready to pressure that even more. The Black Cleaver's finished up onto Dominate, along with the Lizard Elder that was finished quite a while ago, and he has been bringing out the assists at least for his team. He's participating in the 9 kills.
Yeah, there's been a lot of team participation so far by Curse. They're really trying to take this lead into their own hands. And we mentioned how Scar's farm was going to be so pivotal if Dignitas wanted to walk away with victory. He just hasn't gotten going. With his Gunblade completed at this point, it's kind of his moment, but I just feel like Cop is too strong. If he tries to dive on top of Cop, he's just going to get an axe to the face. Uh-oh, here it comes, going for Scar.
Oh, very nice Lantern. Something we got to watch out for with that Thresh pick against the Pantheon. 17, or 117, I should say, for Crumbs and CS to Pantheon's 80, which just shows that Dominate has been trying to do a lot of falling from the sky this game. He's got it to work quite a bit of times. We just talked about how much his kill participation is up top. And this is not looking good for Cop.
Nice
he gets hit up once. There's the Assault and Battery. They go right under the turret. That's the barrier right away, and he does what he can with Dominate, creeping on the backside a little too late.
Yeah, very nice flash into Vault Breaker so we could just burst him down with damage, and then ultimate. One of the highest damage normal spells in the game. 340 base damage on Vault Breaker at max rank there. Really blowing up Cobb.
So that's when getting caught at the pub doesn't help. Quas was just a few seconds too late on the engage there. They do have good coverage up and down that side of the jungle, so if anything were to happen here, they would really have a power play pushing Dignitas out of this mid lane. But looks like Dig has already left themselves. They're going to go back to farming in the jungle. 3,000 gold down. It's not looking too grim for them. They're getting the items they need.
They've had a couple nice things happen to them since they lost the Dragon fight. They have both been keyed off of Crumbs' ganks. 1-0-5 on Vi. He's the one really keeping them in the game right now. He ganked top lane, got a kill on Void Boy, ganked bottom lane, got a kill onto Cobb. And they've taken that gold lead, which was 5,000, down to about 1,500. But the thing that they really have to worry about is the fact that Void Boy now has enough gold for his Infinity Edge. meaning that if he gets a
The
knock
pain
on
train.
Scara, he's going to basically burst him out. I'm a Cutie Pie is equally as vulnerable. The healing potential for the people that need to deal damage on Dignitas isn't high enough based on how much power the assassins on Curse have.
Well, Curse looking to assassinate quickly. As Scara jumps in. If Cutie Pie even gets in range, and that's kind of been St. Vicious's key here, is finding Cutie Pie in these fights, taking him out. They pinched him in last time. The Dragon wasn't the spot that Dignitas wanted to fight. And looks like they won't have any better of a chance fighting outside the Dragon either. They're just getting pushed around right now.
Yeah, Curse is trying to take control of the jungle and then find the right fight. They have the talisman completed. Remember, Dignitas does not. They're going to try and chase really quickly. You could see Curse actually hoped Dignitas fell back straight through their lane because Alistair was flanking around the side. Now they're just going to try and push mid because they know Dignitas doesn't want to come up against them. This is a great push
They
right
also
here by
don't
Curse.
have a Cutie Pie or anybody in place for this. They have 3 people backing right now. No,
Let's see how much
not a
damage
big
they get on
minion
this
wave.
turret. There's just nobody in place for Dignitas right now. The minions run out.
Kiwi Kid being there with the chance to crowd control, a little bit of a deterrent, and they back off as 5, but this is still a very powerful group of Curse here.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to try to play some tricks.
I don't think Curse knew how well they had it right there. They didn't realize Dignitas was so out of position. Otherwise, they would have stuck around a bit more for that turret.
30 seconds on the Dragon, and anything that happens up top here, they're saying, when's the red? Maybe we have the timer.
They're trying the same maneuver again.
They do have the red
They're
timer.
hoping that someone comes in and checks on this red.
Yeah.
Someone will come in and check on the red,
Oh dear, that's the sweeper down.
but will Curse be in position for an attack?
Oh God, they are just...
Oh, man.
This is a game of peekaboo right now. Oh, the pink wards everywhere. Get out of there. Does not want any of that. Scar trying to look for a safe spot. It's going to be Kiwi Kid taking a bit of damage in the beginning. Dominates now into the fight, and they do take down Kiwi Kid. The box is obsolete. This means all of these DPSers can run around freely. A great wall going down. Scar actually gets Boy Boy. Where's Crumbs? Cruiser, both about 700 health combined. The shield comes up on the passive. Oh, no way. He lives for a second. I don't think he's going to make it out too far. Does Cop have Adrenaline Rush? They turn actually onto Cruiser for this one. A middle turret being pushed by I'm a Cutie Pie right now. The Dig may grab off well here.
So he does get the shutdown at the end of this one, but that could have been a lot worse. Very interesting fight right there. No one ends up taking the Dragon. Cutie Pie might actually go down and grab that, which would, in theory, equalize the fight. And make
turret
it good for
and another
Dignitas.
turret.
But check this out. St. Vicious blows a lot of crowd control on Cruiser, actually, which I think was a fatal flaw. He pulverized him, doesn't really do much, which delays the initiation of the rest of Dignitas. Then he flashes in for a headbutt, which is very surprising. He could have locked down a lot more people. This fight just continues. Another key pulverize here. Watch St. Vicious stop Scar's dash. That actually saved Boy Boy's life for a split second. This fight could have went in a lot of different directions. Cop, though, was pretty much untouched, and the chase was a little bit underwhelming for Curse. Great running by Cruiser, landing almost every cleaver, and he's the one who allowed Crumbs to escape.
Good focus. Cutie Pie getting the mid turret, getting the Dragon for the team as well, so they gain a good bit off of that.
They do, actually. Dignitas, who got caught out in the fight, had more people die, and nearly got aced, come out ahead because I'm a Cutie Pie was able to sneak off and grab the Dragon. It was a very tactical play there by him to just pick that one up off the back of the fight. Very fortunate almost, because I don't necessarily think it was super intentional. He just happened to get peeled to that side of the fight. His team said, hey, Dragon's up. No one's going to do Baron. Just go grab it.
Scara not having the score he usually has had in the 6 straight wins for Dignitas, and it's slowing the team down a bit. Crumbs is there getting in with the engagements. 1-0 and 7.
Those pink wards are going to last a while.
Yeah.
9, 10.
Yeah. Good shots. Little return on investment there. Putting his wards down. He
200 more gold.
Gets some
Dignitas
gold
gets
back.
back from that fight.
Yeah.
Technically more because they get the gold kill from the wards as well.
Ooh.
So 100 each plus the 20.
That's good investing right there.
Big money. That's almost a kill. It's crazy when you think of it like that. It's a kill on a guy who's feeding a little bit.
Just a little bit. Find the next one. 0-4-4. Kiwi Kid has been a very big focus of this game, and he's actually been one of a huge initiator for Dignitas. With the Annie, with the box that hasn't been used this game.
Yeah, he hasn't been the
And it's been
initiator
falling apart.
in this one. He's really relegated into the role of just trying to stop the assault of Curse on his Thresh so far. Really just trying to throw up the box and playing. The people that will be initiating are Crumb, Scar, Cruiser. Kiwi Kid's not needed. He's needed to keep I'm a Cutie Pie alive. the Baron is going to be a big point of contention here as well.
I'm just considering now this Akali pick that everybody's grouping. With it being after the Gragas, you know, it kind of depletes the jumping in. We saw it work before and he was able to kill Quas, but it might prove difficult when Crumbs is going in and you can't get in with him.
Oh, can they get any follow-up over the wall? Saints all by himself over there. Teleport coming in, Baron low.
Kyle's off on the side, needs to get back to the farm. Cruiser coming in on teleport. He's going to be safe for now. Death Sentence not hitting. Both teams kind of letting these cooldowns come back up now before they reposition, just staring at the whites of each other's eyes.
Yeah, I feel like this is a bad move for Curse right now because I Will Dominate took about half his health bar from the culling. He has almost no defensive armor on Pantheon right there. But they still might be looking for something. I Will Dominate sticking around. Still sweeping out wards. This is the moment that the game will be decided. Dignitas has crawled back from a 5,000 gold deficit with no big wins, just a bunch of small incremental ones. And now they might be strong enough to win a team fight and take control of this game.
Skara has the Zanya's outplay capability in this game. That item was finished up. Like we said, Crumbs 1-0-7, so he's tanky enough for the initial all-in that is required by Assault and Battery. For now, both teams are going to back off.
Yeah, Pantheon has some definite fall off, and he's feeling it right now. Didn't get any of the kills. Has not been able to build up sufficient tank stats. Curse has got to be a little bit worried about that at this point. Likewise, if Skara can get onto Cop and finish him off, it would be a huge swing in these fights. The late game power of these teams is actually very close. A lot of times we get to tell these cool stories about this really weak early game team versus a great late game team, but it's not the case right here. Yasuo scales amazingly, Pantheon doesn't. Akali can just go crazy. Lucian doesn't scale necessarily as well as Draven, but he has more mobility. Like, there's a lot of conflicting goals that are going on right here. And it's only a 700 to 800 gold lead for Curse. It was 5,000 before.
And what are we looking for from Dignitas? What is their optimal engagement?
Yeah, I think it's just any type, like anybody but St. Vicious right now. There's 4 squishy targets on Curse right now. All of them are good, which makes teamfights a very tricky thing. I don't know if catching Cruiser is the best idea, but they're going for it.
Sadism still up, actually gets thrown on from the outside. The flash engage again coming in here from Crumbs. They're going to be big. He gets 3 on the ultimate of Yasuo. Boy, a beautiful job there. They all fall to the ground and are running for their lives. Dignitas now trying to regroup on this, reassess the fight, but Curse is huddled. They're looking to attack. Piercing down now, it's going to be on a cutie pie. He looks to get the culling out, pushing back St. Vicious, and they reconsider.
Curse is the only team to have a death in that fight, but look at all the flashing red on Dignitas. That fight was ridiculously close, just like this game. They tried to kill Cruiser, and since they didn't kill him in time, they risked a disaster right there. Good Lord, Riv, that was close. I have to question the initiation from Saint. Blowing a flash pulverize on a non-priority target is devastating.
See him going in, and it's hard. They don't have vision of what's below them either.
Yeah, Cruiser pops his ultimate right there, and Crumbs comes in without a bunch of damage. One thing to note in this fight is pay attention to Scar's health and how much he spell vamps to stay alive. First off, he Zanya's the ultimate from Draven. Then he dashes to finish off Quas right here. And then life steals off a minion as well when he dashes to it to just barely stay alive. That was so close to being a 1-for-1, but Scar stays alive.
Great play right there. Put him on a champion where you can outplay, and he will surely put himself in that situation. Azanya's keeping him alive, very much so, in the rush of that Hextech Gunblade, keeping that spell vamp coming in clean. 12-10, 31 minutes into this game, and Dig has taken the gold lead.
Yeah, they're really accumulating gold at a crisp pace right now. Big items, though, on Quas. If he can land any type of stuff on I'm a Cutie Pie. You can see I'm a Cutie Pie is going towards a Guardian Angel. But he built the Chain Vest first because he's more worried about the Yasuo finish, not so much the Gragas. That's the difficulty of itemizing against Curse right now. They have 2 really high damage bursts with different damage types.
Dignitas grabbing up another dragon, or rather Curse, I should say.
Yeah.
And they move their way up
Gives
here.
them the gold lead. They haven't been getting too many of those dragons, actually. So it's very important that they get that.
Gold lead just creeping up a little bit more, as you said. 4-2 in turrets has given them the ability to get themselves in these positions to initiate, but now they're not as clean on the initiation.
Yeah, and you can see the Black Cleaver on I Will Dominate and the lack of armor penetration on Boy. Those 2 actually have to work together and make sure they're hitting the same target at this point. There's a lot of peel that actually has to be done from the Curse side now that Crumbs and Cruiser have hit such tanky proportions. In order to kill them, they have to focus the Black Cleaver stacks with their physical damage. It'll be an interesting thing to track in these team fights, whether they just dive in and ignore them, or whether they pull back and try and finish them off together. Because I think if they do one or the other, it works, but if they split up and you say Boy goes in while I will dominate Peels, the Black Cleaver's not going to be useful.
Everybody's got to be on the same page. It's going to make it hard. Hopefully Quas doesn't bounce anybody out. Those ults don't complement each other too well, but the damage, that's always complementary. 52,000, just a bit of head here as they try to squeak the wards out of Baron Pit, deny that vision. The hashtag no fog is really the priority here for both teams.
It's a good one. No fog. Trying to light up the map right now. A lot of sweeping so far. St. Vicious not dying on Alistair, actually. I was expecting him to.
Well, you said competitive play was a bit safer.
There's definitely
So
more deaths.
definitely have that calm.
6 deaths a game average on a supporting and solo queue. 0 deaths so far this game. Stepping it up.
Cubic Kid's got He had about the least on the team, transferring from the most in the previous splits.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Cubic Kid
set a record for deaths in the LCS. And I'm sure he's constantly reminded.
Hey, a record is a record.
It is in the top lane. But on support, he has been really good.
Yeah,
this split.
His Annie play was banned out this game. We saw it earlier today, and he pretty much wrecked house. I think his second item was a needlessly large rod on Annie. So
Danger.
What are you going to do? You're going to die from that. St. Vicious and crew walking over a ward here. They're going to hatch that right quick, and that is the knowledge.
Necessarily sweep that spot. That's not a spot you think to sweep. That's the spot you would think to sweep. But it does reach back. They were able to click that ward down. I wonder how aggressive Dignitas is going to decide to get here, knowing that they've kind of clawed their way back.
Yeah, it's the first time we kind of see him on the other half of the map.
They're starting to take a little bit of control. Curse has lost theirs. You know, turrets are so close to this game as well. The map is very open right now. Guardian Angel has been completed by Voidboy, which is really key. But I think the Last Whisper is going to be the item that puts him over the top.
And you see a lot of Curse kind of mitigating against what Scar is going to do right now. The Negatron's Cloak being picked up, at least so you can sustain that initial burst. Hopefully live.
Yeah.
Scar is going to be at your throat. We saw what happened when Quads tried to bounce him away. He was right back in the fight.
Scar really wants his Lich Bane, actually, if he wants to be able to combo his burst insanely. They're at a bit of a standstill. I think both teams are a little bit scared of what's happening here because Curse has been pressing so hard for the past 15 minutes or so. Initiating onto the wrong targets, I think. They've pulverized Cruiser by himself 2 fights in a row. And that's allowed Dignitas to take these little small advantages. And Dignitas has gotten most of those because Curse is pressing a bit too hard and not able to find them and still taking it anyway. So this kind of means that both teams are now scared of going because Curse's initiations haven't worked well for them. And Dignitas has only worked well because Curse is over-initiating.
The man drops have been giving him the chance to come back.
Something has to change at this point because Curse has stopped taking the risks.
Yeah, we haven't seen a man drop. Probably a good 10 minutes to come in here unless it was on a fight that was right in front of Dominate. They're not initiating. They were going for Kiwi Kid a lot earlier. They're trying to dictate something here in mid with a pretty solid push on both side lanes.
Yeah, and the items are still building up. You know, the Lich Bane did get completed by Scar, which means maybe now they'll think they'll have enough aggression. Or are they actually waiting for Amacutie to finish either his Infinity Edge or his Guardian Angel, both of which are huge items for him.
Cutie Pie has been one lately that we've seen crushing for Dignitas, but everybody really doing their part here. It's usually been a roll and somebody follows that momentum. We see they're doing it as a team this time.
Yeah, and another thing is Cop is so far behind in CS, in small part because the rest of his team, since they've been grouped up so far, gets the CS before he has a chance for it. Whereas Dignitas is giving a lot back to Cutie Pie. So the 80 carry distribution team by team, Dig is trusting Cutie Pie more with his farm. We might see the fight now. They're really playing with fire.
That was a very close death sentence. Quas just out of range. They're pushed off quite far from their turret. If that's what Curse wanted, they're getting what they want.
Yeah, this could be an open fight for both teams. It's a slightly more advantageous position for Dignitas because they could fall back theoretically to their turret.
Kite it right in.
Curse recognizes that. They know they have nothing to fall back to. So they're actually backing away a little bit, hoping to find a catch. But St. Vicious only sees Cruiser as a potential initiation target. That's why he's not going.
I like this.
If he can get by, he might go.
5v5 laning phase at 36 minutes into the game, and it looks like we're going back and forth. Cop and the team looks to pressure a little harder. Respect is being given on both sides. You walk at us, we'll walk back, and same on the other side.
They're really just waiting for someone to make a mistake, someone to go a little bit too far. This is pretty close to the turret. Here comes Curse.
They lock down the man drop. It's going to be for Crumbs. He's been a huge factor with the assault and battery. He still tries to get out. The cast takes him down. beautiful ult coming in from Cutie Pie, but he's in the backside. Can he get some more in?
Down.
Has already thrown his. They do get Scara. Double kill for Quaz. Looking for more. It's going to be Cruiser now as the only focus. They're trying to shoot the closest thing, but does that give Cutie Pie a chance? No, it does not.
It's still just a 2-for-1. How much can Curse get out of this one? Because Cutie Pie is a great defender, but there's so much damage he has to be afraid of.
Get the turret down. Second tier is that gold in their pocket. A 2,000 gold lead back in favor of Curse. That was a long standoff to see the man drop again.
Curse finally pulled the trigger, and they got the initiation onto someone who isn't Dr. Mundo, which was the key right there. They comboed down onto Crumbs. Like we said, I Will Dominate shredded the armor early on in the initiation, and the rest of the team piled on, Top in particular. Look at that. They push him back. Dignitas could not necessarily help with the initiation. They burst him down, finished by the barrel, and then it was still a pretty close fight after this. You can definitely see Scar was super close to getting the GA proc onto Voyboy. He went down to a barrel, unfortunately, and then Curse is just pushing them back at this point. Since Dignitas had lost their tank line threat, they had to fall away, and they were more vulnerable to the assassination of Curse, which is why they ended up losing the turret.
Very good play from Curse. So many squishy champions in the fight, but they're using everything in the perfect order to stay alive here. Dignitas trying to soak up any bit of resources they have right now in the jungle. Barons and Dragons, very much a thing right now. The Dragon has become alive. We'll see if anybody even goes for that. It's worth a bit of gold now, this late in the game. Average
level in the game is higher than 15. That's the highest level for the Dragon to get to, which means he gives 260 gold per person.
It's a good chunk of change.
And Curse, are they going to rush this? I think if there was no ward inside there, they may have, but they're still going to force. They're just going straight for it. They think Dignitas out of position there. Right, Scar is killing the Dragon right now. He needs to get off of that.
He does take it down. That's a bit of gold. Here comes the teleport in. It's going to be Cruiser. Do they have it? Oh, no, that is not going to happen for you, Crumbs. They get in. It's going to be getting out of the fight that's going to be tough. It's Cruiser right in the back line. Crumbs tries to, I think I can help you. And he may be able to. On to Voyboy, but the focus is there from Curse. You can almost hear the comms.
If somebody knows something about smite steals, it would be St. Vicious, and he did not give I Will Dominate a chance to miss that one. Curse continues.
Voyboy trying to go in, misses the dash, but he gets another one onto Scara. He's forced to go into the fight. The Zanyas, but to what avail? Going down after that, but you look good in gold.
They are going to get so much off this. Look at the duration of the death timers, 40 minutes into the game. Curse capitalizing on a Dignitas positional error, and they're getting that inhibitor.
Curse knew what they wanted the whole time, while kiting Dignitas back and forth in that top lane. It looks like they are going to tank it up for a Nexus. The angle they have only makes a shot by one turret.
Yeah, this is almost indefensible for Cutie Pie. The minions are here. This is a Curse victory.
A great headbutt out. It's going to be Cutie Pie. The 1, the 2, the 3. It goes over. He does get a kill, though. He's able to take one down, but it's going to be too little too late. The Nexus goes down, and Curse is going to be able to stop that Dignitas train.
St. Vicious's return. Right there comes in victory.
The man behind the curtain.
Oh my God, that headbutt. Right as Crumbs was trying to ball breaker in for the steal, he's sharing some kind words with I Will Dominate. He says, you know what? When I was a jungler, everyone let other junglers get in to steal my Baron. He protected his own jungler that time, headbutting Crumbs away. And that just catapulted them to victory afterwards.
Who would have thought, and I don't know how many times I've said that today, but it is completely true. The switch up, which we see as the sub for this week. Zekent out, Saint at support. He picks up the Alistar. A level 3 roam to start off the game.
Kept Scar out of the game.
Wow. Just wow.
Let's not take away from Quas, though. It's the big thing we've been waiting for. Quas with his unconventional champion pool. How many crazy things he can play.
A lot.
He pulls out the Gragas in the top lane. Goes 6-1-3, 307 farm. It gave them so much versatility with the lane swapping. It helped them stop Akali from being able to itemize because they just put him against what he didn't build for.
Yeah. Scara in a lane where he didn't carry for a game. Look at the past wins from Dignitas. A lot of Crumbs, a lot of Scara.
Yeah, and a lot of Cutie Pie, which again,
Cutie Pie in the last few games
was not a factor. That's got to feel really good for Curse right there. I imagine how many hateful questions would happen from Curse. We don't know whether this is a temporary or a permanent thing. Curse has just said, we're trying it out for this week. Very little information was given elsewise. It's so crazy. You have this coach in a situation where you're subbing yourself in. in a sense. If you don't do well, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of criticism.
Well, you hear, right, Monte Cristo, all the coaches say, Alex Penn, it gets a little nerve-wracking when you release them onto the field because you have no control. You take that control back. It seemed to work.
Coach on the field, maybe, at that point.
Coach on the field, no penalty this time.
The whole point right there, you know. First game as support, he played very well. 215 when you consider they had 19 kills in the game. So 17 of those 19 were definitely St. Fitch's being involved in that. I like the game right there.
Yeah. See, it's not something we expected from him. Maybe I actually expected a Lulu.
Oh yeah, because he played Lulu, Leona, Thresh, and Annie a lot of in these games. Lulu might have helped with Boy chaining with the knockups, but instead of just putting a knockup onto Yasuo, why not just go in head first and knock everybody
Continuously
up
do it. We got to call mention to as well, really just cheeky strategical move, setting up the double AP and AD lane and then swapping them against Dignitas. So Mundo was then versus the wrong mitigation.
You know, it's great that we got to end with this game because I think it was the game of the day right there.
Yeah.
Just how tense it ended up being because Curse had that 5,000 gold lead. You know, and then Dignitas started crawling back. One catch after another. Crumbs was pulling off some awesome ganks on Vi again and again. And then they just kind of stopped. They were worried about who was going to get the right initiation.
You could tell they were like, our timer for when we need to do things is shrinking. You were saying Pantheon is starting to fall off. They did man drops on Kiwi Kid how many times in the bottom lane before they were like, that's not going to work either too.
Yeah, until the bot lane went away. The game stopped being about the bot lane. It was just the mid lane. They just started playing around Baron.
So many strong plays. Quas actually finished with a Rabadon's Void Staff, looking for the Hadamathenes, looking for the Zanyas after that. So even in his play, on the play on Karthus, the play on Jax, his play on Gragas, it's always to take people out. He is a killer in that lane, even if you don't hear much from him in the early game.
And we know Curse has a lot ahead of him right there. 3-5 before this game, 4-5 now. They're trying to creep up, get that into a winning record. There's a lot of potential on this team. They remade almost their whole roster in the offseason. To knock down a team like Dignitas, who was on such a big winning streak, is quite an accomplishment.
With the change as well, it kind of mixes things up and shows that they have the coordination to make it happen, even on the spot. Well, 4 more games down. Let's see how the teams stack up now. First place, still Team Solo Mid with 8 wins and 1 loss.
But then in second place, right on their heels, is Cloud9. Another win today made it 7-2. In third place, Scar and Dignitas are sitting at 6-3.
And then it is a tie for 4th with Counter Logic Gaming and Curse. In 6th place, it is Evil Geniuses with 3 wins and 6 losses. And sharing last place is Coast and XDG Gaming. The NALCS returns tomorrow with 4 more matches, starting with a rematch when Counter Logic Gaming faces off against Evil Geniuses, and then St. Vicious and Curse take on Xpecial and Team Solo Mid.
After that, it's second place Cloud9 versus 7th place Coast, followed by XDG against Dignitas, who will be looking to rebound.
Yes, they will. A quick reminder, tickets are still available to attend the Challenger Series Finals following our LCS show here in the studio on February 16th. Then on February 22nd and 23rd, we'll play host to the North American Collegiate Championship.
Yeah, for all the details on those, head to LOLesports.com, click on the tickets link.
All right, we're going to send it over to Freak and Kobe to take us into the North American Challenger Series. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Riv. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 North American Challenger Series, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm David Freak Turley. This is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler, who is awesome as usual. How you doing?
Oh, I thank you. I'm excited to see some LMQ Chinese action and see if they're up to the hype.
Yeah, I think they just might be. Of course, coming up tonight, we do have that first semifinal match, LMQ, as he says, against NK Inc. and Skyline.
Yeah, I mean, the winner of this best-of-3 series is going to advance to next week's finals, so there's definitely a lot on the line here. That's going to be played live, by the way, on the LCS stage.
Yeah, 8 days from now. And because I think a picture, at least our pictures are worth more than 1,000 words, let's take a look at the bracket. As you can see, we only have 4 BO3s left in the first spring series. And heads up, the winners of this week's semifinals will not only advance to next Sunday's finals, they'll also lock down a quarterfinal spot in the second spring series.
And while the winners will automatically earn a trip to the quarters, the losers of this week's semifinals are not finished. They still are going to compete in next Saturday's third place match, with the winning team locking in the final automatic berth into the quarterfinals of the second spring series.
Yeah, so we're going to see the top 3 teams come back in just a couple of weeks, and the rest of them are going to still have to fight in rank 5s. But now for the teams competing tonight, there's more on the line than just advancing to the spring series, though. There are challenger points on the line as well. Now, challenger points are what these guys are actually fighting for. They determine who makes it to the challenger playoffs, which is what actually feeds into the promotion tournament.
And the 6 teams that accumulate the most challenger points over the next 2 spring series will be seeded into the playoffs. And the teams that finish in the top 3 of those playoffs will then advance to the summer promotion tournament and a shot at making it in to the LCS summer split.
I stole your line there. My bad about that one. We're good, though. Now, of course, that means that tonight's semifinal could mean the difference between a shot at the LCS and another split playing ranked 5, so kind of a big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line for these guys right now.
It'd be nice to win the BO3. Now, if that was a little bit too much for you guys, we kind of threw a lot at you. Just head over to LOLesports.com and you can look up all the details.
There you'll find everything you need to know about the Challenger Series. Just pull down the menu under the Leagues and Tournaments tab and choose the North American Challenger Series.
Yeah, or any other leagues you want to follow there as well. I actually noticed the GPL's up there as well, so we're adding more leagues to the coverage. I like that.
Worldwide.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know we're going to add more throughout the year. Now, with that all put out there, let's actually get ourselves into the game. Our first match in the semifinal, again, LMQ versus Skyline. Coming into the series, LMQ probably the most hyped team here.
Yeah, they've received quite a bit of hype, and it's because they're basically a former Chinese pro team stacked with pro players coming over to play in the North American Challenger League. Their top laner, Ackerman, was the top laner for Royal Club in the Season 3 World Finals. Only then he was known as Godlike. And then their mid laner, Xiao, he's actually set several records CS-wise, like CS over a whole game for competitive league, both over in China and over here in the competitive league.
Yep, doing it on both sides of the Pacific there. And, of course, because of all the firepower on that roster, a lot of people thought that LMQ would finish at the top of the Challenger standings. Looking good so far. Now, the thing is, some teams have faltered under that kind of expectation. We saw the former Walking Zed, Cloud9 Tempest, fall 0-2. But LMQ actually really living up to that hype.
Yeah, they haven't actually even come close to losing a series of the Challenger Series so far. They've put up impressive team KDA of 9.6 in all 4 of their series combined.
It's pretty freaking good record, I gotta say. It's an impressive score. And, of course, to go along with those impressive team stats, there are some really good individual numbers as well. I think no one's surprised with that one.
Yeah, I mean, Xiao, we already mentioned him, but man, has he dominated the mid laners in their 4 games. His KDA, 20.5, so he's definitely helping out the team there on that average team
A little
KDA.
high?
Yeah. His CS stats, as we said before, are impressive as well, and he's averaging more than 11 minions killed per minute. So that's thanks in part to his 29-minute 400 CS performance against Wiso Esports.
Yeah, and a score like that is like impressive if you do it for 1 game, but he's done that for 4 on average. A little ludicrous, but he's really good, of course. So Xiao, harsh treatment of minions has earned him a lot of attention so far in the Challenger Series. But also, I think we should talk about LMQ's AD carry Vasily. I remember Xpecial said he would do a queue with him, so clearly a well-regarded player.
Yeah, in his interview, he was like, oh, what's the person that you would most like to do a queue with?
If it's not Wild Turtle.
That's pretty highly recommended because Xpecial North American all-star support. So he's got some good friends, too. But that's just because Vasily has been literally killing it in the bottom lane. He's racked up 25 kills and 29 assists while only dying twice. Pretty good score for him as well.
A little bit good.
Yeah, so if you do the math on that, that's a 27 KDA so far in the Spring Challenger Series.
Yeah.
Seems like him and Xiao are doing a
lot
lot
of
to
20s.
bring up that.
They got some strong legs.
The team KDA.
Yeah. So, of course, Vasily and LMQ have put up some gigantic numbers. On the other side of it, NK Inc. and Skyline are looking to play the part of David tonight and slay another giant.
Skyline was ranked 15th out of the 20 teams that qualified for this Challenger play-in portion. But, they did take out Jackie's low pro in their first match, so that's a big name down. And then they also took out Tint Gaming in their second match, so they're doing pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, and in fact, we talked about this match a little bit like a second ago. They actually faced Cloud9 Tempest, the former Walking Zed. These guys were a single game away from making it into the LCS. Walking Zed went 2-3 against Coast, and Skyline 2-0'd these guys. They 2-0'd them, took them down to the quarterfinals. Right, they took out the #1 seed. Clearly, these guys can play upsets.
Yeah, they're experienced in it. We'll have to see. This is going to be a pretty big upset if they take this one down, though. Their bot lane, though, did step up in that game against Cloud9 Tempest. Impactful, went 13, 2, and 18. Yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot of attention paid to this bottom lane here, as it's been important for both of these teams.
Yeah.
And not to be outdone, of course, is his support, former Velocity member. People may remember him, Evaniscus. He's actually changed his name now to Support Daddy, which it was previously. Yeah. So he's just going back to his old name. Feels more at home there. But, yeah, he used to play in the LCS, so he has experience as well, and that's going to help them in the bottom lane. If Skyline is going to pull off the upset, though, against LMQ today, Impactful and Evaniscus are both going to have to do their parts and step up.
Yeah, and I think they can do it, honestly. Both these teams actually have been playing in...
You're going to bet on them? I'll bet you right now.
I don't know if we can actually legally bet on things with real money, so I'll bet you a high five.
Okay.
If you win...
I can't give it to you now. You didn't win yet.
Well, it was okay.
Get back to your duties.
If I win the bet, you give me a high five. If you win the bet, I give you a high five. That's how that works.
Something about that bet doesn't seem right to me.
We don't even know which teams we're betting on, but it's fine.
Same result.
Well, so both these teams have been playing in the other various challenger events. These guys actually met a few days ago.
And it wasn't pretty, Freak.
No.
It was not pretty.
LMQ won that.
Let's leave it at that. We don't want to ruin this game, okay?
But the thing is, if you know you're facing them for an arguably more important match, maybe Skyline didn't bring in everything, honestly.
They're sandbagging.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They're also undefeated so far in this tournament. You can't completely throw them under the bus here.
Okay. Yeah.
LMQ are favorites, I know.
I have a lot of faith in NK Inc., though. He's a really good jungler and a really innovative jungler.
He is.
So that's actually a good point that you pull out. You know, if they've got a special strategy, they'd save it for tonight.
Yeah, they would.
And pull it out now.
Well, we'll see what comes through here. The Fiddlesticks and Kale
double
bands
spider,
going through.
as Jet would say.
Double spider. Isn't it like both on one hand? Or
I don't know. He hurt his hand, so he can't do it anymore.
He can't. Yeah, Jet's been crippled. He can't commentate the same anymore. The hand signals are not there. All the deaf listeners have no idea what he's doing anymore.
Yeah,
it's too bad. But so Skyline, the other thing I want to point out here, so you talked about Impactful in the pregame, and he's like the most consistent player. Skyline actually played LOL Pro last night and lost to them 1-2. Impactful did really well every single game. Golden Glue was inconsistent, but hard carried game 2. He was like a 13-0 Yasuo. I'm surprised to see them ban it. But Golden Glue is like, he can go crazy one way or the other. He's like a super Pavelter. He will like single... He's basically the Fabi of mid lane. X is thinking how I'm going to do this one. But the rest of LMQ, though, highly skilled, very consistent as well.
And Elise is a great jungler to get them started off.
Oh,
I mean, no name. He's one for putting pressure onto a lot of lanes fairly early. LMQ have a lot of early game strategies. A lot of teams just don't even get to the late game because they fail against LMQ in the early game alone.
Yeah.
So it's looking like they're going for that sort of game once again.
Well, we'll see Elise give it away. And the thing is, the Kazakhs ban, that is what No Name played in the quarterfinal, but the rest of his team started playing Kazakhs as well. So it was like more of a multifaceted ban, but then it just gives away first pick Elise. Of course, Thresh, Gragas coming through as well. NK Inc. does play Gragas, so that's a ambiguous pick right now. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Gragas is always a very flexible early pick. Really like that one. As we just saw in the previous game, he'd go top lane too.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to build tank.
Nope.
So
he build the damages.
He can build whatever he wants.
Of course, LMQ picking up their next two. Renekton top lane, so more early game dominance. Leona for great engages. LMQ's picking up a pretty standard lineup so far.
I'm having flashbacks already to the first LMQ game that we cast where Ackerman with the Renekton under the mid turret got shields and backed up with crowd control from the rest of his team, saving his life there. Pretty good YouTube highlight to look up.
Will we see Orianna then?
They have the Leona, so that's one piece of the puzzle there. But yeah, so he usually, on his Renekton, he does like to get the Tiamat, but he doesn't upgrade it into the Hydra right after. He goes into those early defensive stats instead.
Okay.
Getting some magic resist or armor as applicable to whoever he's going to be fighting in that lane.
Okay. We'll see where he moves with this one. We're waiting for the next two pickups here for Skyline. We know half their bottom lane. Haven't seen Thresh go anywhere but support, I think, ever, for what that's worth.
Really? In competitive play,
yeah,
we'll say yes.
Yeah. I know our spectator, like KS, likes to play AD Thresh when he's like warming up at the beginning, and we're just like testing all the camera options. But Lee Sin picked up Ezreal here as well. And Skyline putting together most of their lineup now.
They're showing me that they do not want to give away that early game. They know where the battleground is, and they want to take it. In the early game, they're going to put up as strong of a fight as they can. All of these are great champions for matching up against the early game power from LMQ.
Yeah, it is here. And so LMQ with their last pick, it's going to be LeBlanc there for the mid lane for Xiao Xiao. Not the renowned minion farmer LeBlanc, but certainly still puts up good performance.
I mean, ever since everybody was like, whoa, we maxed W and we can like handle waves now, she's not terrible. It used to be when everyone is maxing Q, wow, she's terrible CS. She has to get kills for her to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Not the story anymore. A lot of that had to do with the mimic changes, but yeah, it's really been a great improvement to the champion, and she doesn't suffer as much as she used to against champions like Gragas, who will shove her into the turret really early and just starve her of gold early on.
Well, we saw that with TSM. Bjergsen like rushed.
Ooh, we're blue now.
Ooh, I'm here.
I like that.
It's okay, guys. Peeking over.
I like the color change, though.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. We look good.
Brings out your eyes, freak.
I know.
Except
they're very
not
pretty.
blue.
They're very. I mean, they're actually rainbow. They just change colors based on mood.
So
right now I'm
now,
happy.
You're okay.
You don't want to see me angry. They turn bright red. But it's going to be the Gragas mid lane. It's going to be Dr. Mundo picked up here for Jezzy. They decided to wait until last to grab that one. Gragas is going to go mid here for Golden Glue. And the lineups are here.
All right, so Elise Lee Sin, very close early matchup. Lee Sin can kill Elise early, but she can easily do the same if she gets the jump on him. Starting out with a cocoon and getting the right order of her combo, human form Q into spider form Q into spider form W to speed up her attack speed is how you want to start that out. If she gets the initiate, then she can be explosive early in the jungle.
Okay.
But Lee Sin can actually do the same too because he's got plenty of dodge tools. So like I said, I really like this. It's a very sort of even matchup between these two teams. The only really big discrepancy early is, of course, the top lane that we always talk about.
Yep.
However, no teleport, and it's 1 second left, and he's going to Ignite with Mundo.
Okay.
Not something we see a lot of. Does give him a little bit more potential for getting a kill up there that we don't usually see from Mundo. He can slow him down. If Renekton shoves up to the lane, it's a long lane to get back from. With a jungle gank, Mundo can set up that gank very well and actually take him down.
And let's think about all the factors here. Lee Sin jungle, early game jungler.
Yep.
Most teams tend to ignore top lane for a large portion of the game, so not likely to have a counter gank there from No Name. And we know that Ackerman tends to go Tiamat, so not a tanky opener. Like level 6 or 7, pops the ulti, chases him down, squishy Renekton. Maybe he kills him.
Maybe he does. The only thing is, Mundo is actually susceptible to early tower dives, as we saw today from Cloud9 when they brought Meteos up there before level 6.
Yeah.
They dove that Mundo and killed him. And the only little wrinkle here, I guess, is that he snuck in his teleport summoner.
What a jerk.
As they were loading in.
Well, Jezzy, you're fired.
Man, that is some fast mouse work
That's
there.
messed up.
All right, so no interesting wrinkle.
Never
it's
mind.
The same old boring page.
Same
up there.
wrinkles. They didn't bring any moisturizer.
You've been learning, haven't you?
That was just arbitrary.
No?
Thought of that one that second.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, man. How does Lions run faster?
What'd you say?
How does Lions run faster?
All right, that's not that very good of English. Very good of English? That's not good either. Okay. How? How do they run faster?
Metal legs.
I guess that works. Robo Lions?
We're starting them early.
This is terrible.
Yep.
Oh, God. We got off on the wrong foot here.
Was it a metal foot?
We are stumbling. We need metal legs. Somebody get me a Photoshop of Freak with metal legs twerking right now.
What? Wow.
Right now.
That was a little bit much. I don't... Can I just be standing still? I'd really prefer that one. I'd feel a lot better about it. But here we are in the game.
Let's actually talk about this
Relic
Targon.
shield.
Yeah, Targon's for Leona. We have to say she's looking to shove early. Ooh, NK gets caught out after his early ward.
He's gonna root him. Easy stun there, but here comes Jezzy as well. Ackerman nearby. Flash stun, ignite. NK Inc. is dead.
That's why you set up the game, Freak, instead of talking about lions with metal legs. Now they're looking for more inside the jungle. They invade on the red, but it's only 2 members, and Gragas is collapsing. They would have to call LeBlanc as well. You can see Xiao heading over, and they're going to steal the red.
Wow, very nicely played by these guys. No Name ready there to steal that one away. Xiao, Golden Glue chilling in the mid lane. No Name going to get himself a red buff, and now I want to see... I'm surprised actually NK Inc. went down to this camp, though, because he doesn't stop Elise in time.
That means he's completely behind. You're right. He could have just headed towards the blue side jungle, given his red up as, it had been invaded, and he could have just given it up for loss. But he goes to clear out the little lizards, and he will at least know the respawn time and get it coming back up for the second lizard that much quicker.
Okay, we'll see what he does with this one. He's actually looking to stab at the blue buff. The wards spot him coming across. No Name's level 2 with no smite.
So he was thinking... No Name's probably going to go to his blue after since it's the closest buff, and since he used his smite on my red, I'll be able to steal it, no problem. That's why he went to contest, or to clear out the little ones, and then go contest the blue.
Ooh, nice dodge there by Vasily. Now Evaniscus level 2 first. They did get the level lead. A little bit of harass down there. Golden Glue, Xiao still chilling. A minion lead is here for the LMQ mid laner, though. NK Inc. only level 1, trying to pull this buff back.
Yeah, it's rough start here for NK.
He'll get it eventually.
Yeah, he'll get it, but man, you know, No Name's going to have pretty much free reign over the map. Talked about how both these guys can make moves early in the jungle. He's going to have to pretty much be in fear of Elise from now on because she has such a good lead.
Even if he weren't arachnophobic, it's going to be a dangerous Elise now to work for him. So Jezzy, of course, pushed back, not surprised by this lane matchup at all. Ackerman just shoving in, and he's actually really not afraid of the Lee Sin ganks just because of how far back NK Inc. is. Like, when do you, like, expect to even see NK go for a gank then, since he's not even level 3 yet?
Yeah, all your timers, the internal timers, have been thrown off. Because NK is so far behind, Ackerman can play even more aggressive than usual, and you can see he just places the Tribush ward now, so that's a 1-minute trinket ward there, and he's bought himself another 2 waves to go full-on aggressive.
Okay. So up until 5 minutes into the game, that's about when that ward will time out. We'll see what NK Inc. does right here. Golden Glue taking some harassment, not too much there from Xiao. And No Name, level 4, 2 levels above NK Inc. Goes in the jungle but does not find him. He's actually a camp late.
So, yeah, that's really fortunate for NK. He was able to move to the other side of the jungle. As Elise, when you get that level up, obviously he's going to go looking for a fight early and try and take advantage of that level discrepancy. But, you know, he's got a sweeper. He doesn't have a trinket ward. So this invade that he's done, since he didn't find NK, he's not even going to be able to leave behind any vision here.
Don't they just go back to the same camp? Shouldn't he swap the marker? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. He's waiting for NK.
Yeah. He set up a pretty good ganker. He can get the full combo. That's what we're talking about. Half-life already gone.
Have HP on NK. NK still fighting, though. Golden Glue nearby. Jumps to a ward. Burned a ward, though. He went back and bought boots and wards. Already burned one of them on basically useless vision just for the jump.
Yeah. You know, he had to think quick there, and he had used a real ward instead of a trinket ward. So a little bit of a gain there. Paid off for No Name. Going deep with the invade.
I think that's like as much counter jungling as stealing a camp away.
Yeah.
Like as far as gold lost, like that's a camp's worth of money right there.
Experience is definitely
true.
a huge part, but
True.
I do like the comparison.
And the early sweeper used here by No Name, I believe he always starts with one. And,
Interesting choice
going
there.
away.
Yeah. Especially if you do get ahead early, then you're just like, well, yeah, I already have this ready to roll. I can get off my ganks. He can make people play more passive in the lane, which really works to the style. Wow, the little things from Vasily there. Just the hook dodges
and everything, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the jungler with always having a sweeper plays into LMQ's team mentality here, where they always like to go aggressive early and bully their lanes because everyone has to wonder about where's the jungle at all times, and it sort of forces their opponents into passive playstyles.
It's working so far for these guys. LMQ in a happy place. Lane's all pushing in. 1,200 gold.
Ooh, he wants
lead.
to execute this cannon minion. Ah, there we go. Moore gets it. So we'll have to keep in mind that not only does Lucian have a couple more CS than Ezreal, but those are 6 Targon CS as well. And those are probably mostly cannon minions. So those are very potent CS numbers that are shared between the AD carry and the support.
Yeah, it would be, I believe, 3 cannon minutes at this point in the game. Double chain squall on Golden Glue, knocked backwards. Xiao saw it coming and walked back. Not get hit up there. Golden Glue just going to lose CS into the turret. And I got to say, this mid lane, LeBlanc versus Gragas, really a good bully already for Xiao.
Yeah. I mean, 2 Chains has been really popular in 2014 with the rise of this LeBlanc shoving people. We've seen it used so many times under turret, but No Name with his sweeper
sort of very
goes for the push
aggressive
gank.
look for a dive.
Yeah, I mean, they miss the Zenith Blade, so that means they at least won't have to take damage when they go for their dive, and they land the Cocoon, which is pretty much unretaliated harass. So, you know, time not completely wasted down bottom.
True. All right, so NK brought this Trinket Ward over the wall so we can spot if Elise invades into the jungle. And he's going to get this pretty safely. Has Smite.
Yeah, it gives us insight into what NK's feeling right now. He's always looking over his shoulder for Elise because of the early discrepancy, and he's got to play safe. So he's doing a good job trying to catch back up. Now, jungle camps do scale well into the late game. based on the champion levels, and since NK is behind, he's going to get more out of just hard clearing the jungle.
Yeah.
But it's always worth repeating that the jungle camps level depends on the average level of champions in the game at the time they spawn.
Yeah.
So you have to keep on clearing the same camp for them to update the level and get back into the game. You can't just go into your jungle and do one rotation and expect to catch up.
Okay, so NK hitting level 6, No Name still 1 level ahead. Or sorry, NK hitting 5, No Name already level 6, still a level ahead right here. NK is a minion away from 6.
This is a good gank path, though, especially going to a Leona lane. They're fairly easy to bait. So right now, they should be trying to, or just go for the flash play.
Flash play,
That'll
Box
work too.
lands onto More. Q lands onto Vasily. No kick, though, for NK and a really good Zenith Blade. Gets him backwards. Lots of lockdown there. That's the kill picked up. NK hits 6. The gank works right there, and he's not even punished for it.
Only because of the follow-up from Golden Glue. Without that, there would have been nothing there. So really good communication. And now the choice is, do we want Dragon, or do we try and swing to mid lane here? It looks like they are going to go for the Dragon. NK has hit level 6. His Smite will be a little bit higher, but both junglers have executes. This is going to be a very, very tight Smite war.
And the health bars are low. Evaniscus goes down. Dragon helps that one. NK Inc. not in a good spot. Flashes the wall. And LMQ now in control here. I don't think NK can get this.
Oh, no, he'll probably die, too.
Oh, what a cocoon. The damage comes through. Xiao takes it. Double buffs now onto LeBlanc.
Oh, that's sad news for SK and great news for LMQ. SKL, they really wanted to get back into this game by making something out of the play bottom, and LMQ do a great job of countering. Now, everybody grouped up on the Dragon. This is a very early Dragon, so still putting out a lot of damage, and it really helps Xiao with his kill of Evaniscus, because without that added damage, they would have to play a little bit more timid. But man, him tanking it, easy first target.
Yeah, and I like his sort of awareness there. It was like it'll seem really stupid after I say it, but like I kept thinking, oh, is he going to kill the jungler? Is he going to kill the jungler because he has Smite? And he was like, you know what? I'll just get a free kill on the Thresh, and then my team will force the jungler away. And he didn't have to like remove the Smite to secure Dragon. He just took a kill and got a numbers advantage.
Yeah, it means that they were very calm with that play. They did not rush into it. A lot of times when an objective is low at stake like that, whether the Half-Life Dragon, some rash decisions will be made. But Xiao, not one to be flustered easily.
And I like Ackerman's choice to go in. He actually waited as soon as he saw NK Inc. run past the tri-brush ward in top lane. Then he jumped in knowing he wasn't going to get ganked. He's very patient for how aggressively he plays.
Yeah, but he does take every opportunity to go for it because they've harassed Mundo down low and they have Ignite. They can go for the dive.
And the CC stack comes in. That's the kill picked up. Ackerman easily grabbing that one. Everything just working out for LMQ. In step every time.
And we have a double buff LeBlanc about to get engaged on.
Well, she might not want to say yes. There's the damage coming in. Do they have the kick? There's the barrel. That's the kill picked up. NK ain't getting his buffs back. Golden Glue getting an assist. Top lane turret did go down. Huh, what a flay by support daddy Evaniscus, though.
You're just going to combine names there?
Well, it's Evaniscus on the screen. I don't want to like confuse people who didn't watch pregame.
Yeah, we did prep it as support daddy.
Yeah.
That's a good shout out. He's got a couple names. But yeah, the junglers both making good moves. The only difference is, since they lost so much life middle with the kill onto Xiao, they got no turret damage. Meanwhile, Elise and Renekton made quick work of that top turret.
It's true. So the turret game advantage really here for LMQ. 4,000 gold, by the way, in the lead. That's 1 turret, 1 dragon, 2 kills, and minions in every single role. So I got to say LMQ definitely winning on all fronts.
Yeah. I mean, even the support has more CS here. And Evaniscus does not have a Targons of his own, so those are selfish support CS.
Yeah, scumbag Thresh.
Leonas are shared. Man, look at the builds, too, for LMQ. Like, they're all so offensive-oriented. Renekton and
here comes the engagement. Both junglers show up. There's a nice solar flare. The fire comes back down. 1 for 0 so far. Jezzy shows up with teleport. Can they chase down No Name? Flash comes out. Vasily still cutting into the back. I would not chase that one. 1 for 0 going in the way of LMQ. Fight in the mid lane, though. Golden Glue. Wow! Whips the barrel. Good damage back. Body slam. If he hit the ult, that might have been closer.
Yeah, some good jukes there, Xiao, and some missed barrels from Golden Glue. It is worth mentioning, up in the top lane, Ackerman has rushed the full Hydra. He hasn't gone for the early defensive. He's just going all out, shoving this wave super hard. Mundo teleporting down bottom. sacrificed a secondary turret here.
That is a rough trade, and not to mention all the minion waves he lost as well that Ackerman got basically without anyone in his face. So a 37
Yeah, he's
minion
giant
lead.
right now.
He's pretty freaking big. 13-minute Hydra.
He's getting close to godlike already. That was almost as bad as yours. Damn.
Yeah, you got to really check yourself. You got to leave the bad jokes to me.
Do you have any more of these 5-year-old jokes?
Yeah. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Chicken.
Okay, chicken who?
A friendly chicken.
Well, at least it's a friendly chicken,
Yeah.
I guess. It's not like Big Bird or something. I always felt like
I thought...
I always felt like Big Bird had some ulterior motives, and he was very a sinister character.
I don't know. That seems like a
A
paltry
friendly
reason
chicken.
why.
That's the nicest joke that you've had so far.
Yeah. I don't know. Robotic lions are pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, but they're kind of scary.
They're
There's definitely an edge.
What if it's a friendly lion with robotic legs?
Then that's not the joke that you told.
Sorry. I guess you're right.
Meanwhile, blue buff definitely going to go over to Xiao Xiao. Ackerman's so strong right now that he can easily take it up, though. So that's nice. You don't even have to commit your jungler's time.
Nope.
A lot of times, as a jungler, yes, you want to be able to give your blue buff over to mid laners, but it kind of pains you that you have to go spend your time to also tank it for them. Not only are you giving up one of your buffs to them,
Yeah.
but they want you to do all the work as well. Annoying.
And you don't get the conservation stacks for it.
It's so.
You might even lose a spiderling.
All
Maybe
right.
you'll break a nail.
This time around, though, we have
Okay.
two people mid, and both dashes have been used from Xiao Xiao.
All right, knocks him into the wall. NK shows up. A lot of damage there. They know which one it is. The Q lands. Nice Q. Right. Actually, wow, Ignite took him before NK even landed on his target.
It was a good snipe, though, by NK.
Yeah,
Catching him out there.
Really good shot. Jumps back to Golden Glue. Everybody's safe. So Skyline are finding some individual plays, I got to say. And they're all mid lane jungle. They're all from NK Inc. and Golden Glue. Problem is, they're just really
the
not.
attack speed's so slow.
Oh my gosh.
But he gets it.
He's just like sitting there like, ugh. He got it. Still full power despite how slowly he swung. Swung? Swung. Swang is not a word, freak. English is my native language. Apparently doesn't matter.
Another cannon minion goes down to the Targons. They are really racking up that gold. He's just way out and far and away. Just huge lead on Impactful here. Vasily is going to be a scary thing later in the game.
Flashlight comes in again. Ezreal comes by. Jump onto the backside. Missed Solar Flare. Evaniscus and NK in the front lines. Wow, Vasily picks up the kill, but now he's stuck in a 1 versus 3. I expect them to die, but we'll see. Misses the barrel.
Tough odds.
Impactful force to... Okay, they got it.
You
NK
got another
takes the kill.
summoner.
Yeah.
And they've got more waiting in the wings. They could capitalize. The fight's not done.
They have plenty here. NK Inc. can't really save his teammates. Impactful goes down to the Eclipse damage. Barrels on a Xiao Xiao. The chase going in. NK just barely survives. No, the flash jump in from Xiao Xiao. Gets him there. More jumping in a Golden Glue. A lot of health lost on this Leona. He will survive.
She's too deep. You've gone too deep, man.
And goes down. 300 gold. Goes to Golden Glue. 9-5 the kill score. Jesse and Ackerman wanting to take part, but not finding anyone to kill.
So this is LMQ just kind of getting carried away with themselves. They racked up a good amount of kills, though, and they can control this dragon because there's no smite still, at least. It's only the annoyance of Dr. Mundo and Thresh.
Oh.
The gank.
What?
Which way to go? Which way did it go?
Down he goes.
Uh-oh. He was right by him. He's got a blue buff on him, dude. You can tell which one's the real LeBlanc. He's got a buff on him. The clone never has buffs on them. That's just a little tip.
Yeah.
Evaniscus, did you know?
The buffs will let you know.
The buffs will let you know.
I had a Wukong try to juke me that way.
Yeah.
He just pressed S, and I was like, Thresh hook. Pull you from afar.
Oh, okay.
LMQ in the mid lane. Ackerman knows this turret, but it goes down. Doesn't die to it. Not a big deal. He's safe. 10-5 now and kills 4-0 on turrets. LMQ still keeping it going. They're not. It feels like they're. I don't want to say it's like they're not in a rush to close the game out because they have 4 turret kills really early on, but they're still playing the lanes. They're rotating, killing turrets off the lanes.
I feel like they're having a lot of fun. Xiao wants to go for this kill, and he's gonna get it.
Auto attack doesn't even have the W. Saved it.
I mean, this is something that could cost them later when they come up against. I mean, if they go further.
Sure.
We'll go put that in quotation marks.
Could,
if they go further in the tournament.
Kick him in the butt this game. What if Skyline comes back?
When you're so successful game after game after game, then you could get overconfident, and it could easily cost them here. Oh, he doesn't get the cannon minion that time. Vasily didn't let him have it.
They've got bright blue orbiting little spheres that say, hey, by the way, this is free gold. This is 10 bonus gold for you each time. And
Bad
he's like,
manners.
I don't need the money.
Bad manners AD carry right there.
He's already rich. You could finish Trinity Force faster if you let him hit those.
That is just
It's mean.
terrible.
Yep.
All right, that's another thing that could cost LMQ here.
Yep, that's like 80 missed gold right there for the
Ackerman
team.
taking on 4 people. He likes those odds, though.
He's running. He's got flash. Barreled into the wall. His chase still goes in. Nice hook there from Support Daddy. Solar Flare lands onto massive numbers there. And there's the engage. A lot of AoE to fall. LMQ still in the chase. Jezzy trying to run. He has Mundo, but his ulti is down at this point. Got nowhere to go. Picked up by No Name. Impactful Vasily in a duel. Vasily picks up the kill. The reset on the E gets him out of turret range. Golden Clue not in a good spot. Down he goes. Double kill for No Name. Ouch.
I love that stylish kill with Lucian where you go for the reset on your dash, and he's able to get 3 backwards ones, sort of moonwalk dashes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we talked about Ackerman taking on that 4 people. He survived long enough for the rest of the team to get there and clean up. So he can definitely call worth on that one. And even though they're just playing very sporadic game here, this is kind of indicative of all the Challenger games where the teams that get ahead very early just close them out by shoving all 3 lanes.
Yeah.
And just taking any sort of gold they can see on the map.
Well, Jezzy about to get hit up right here. Rooted in place. Down he goes. Shywashap picks up another kill. 8, 2, and 4. Bloodbath of a game here. 17 kills for LMQ in 19.5 minutes.
Yeah, there's almost no extra time to even pause here. They're going to go right onto the turret. They've got, even with half their team deciding to recall, they're still pushing on it. 3 members is enough for extra turret damage here. And Skyline need to regroup.
Well, we'll see if they can do it. Jesse's up in 4 seconds. So what's your, how long to the next kill for LMQ then?
Well, I'm going to say at least a minute.
All right. If it's before 21:13.
Yeah, all right.
You owe me a high five.
What if I win? I'm going to ask for
a high five?
A better joke the next time you tell a joke. A good one.
That's a tall order.
All right, Shawasha's going for it. I hope he doesn't get it because I need 30 more seconds.
You got about 40 seconds.
Now, we should look at this from Skyline's point of view. You're down 12K. It's pretty 20 minutes. That's really, really harsh. But okay, never mind. We got more action.
Yes, we do. He's going for the solar flares. Gonna, well, in a bit. He puts the E down. S-Gank goes down.
All right, that's before 21.
Give me a high five. There you go. We heard that one on the microphones. My jokes stay in the way they are. LMQ pushing the bottom lane for all time. That turret goes down 5-0. Another turret score. 14,000 gold lead. Wei Xiao sweeps away the mid lane. Mid lane tier 2 turret now under siege. And he's got a Void Staff plus Deathfire Grasp done before anyone else has 2 items. This is just that's the pain.
It's very disheartening. Against LeBlanc, you really want to be able to build a Banshees at some point in the game, but he's rushed that magic penetration. So even if you start with the Negatron Cloak, you know, that thing's going to be cut almost in half as soon as you buy it. So you just feel bad buying your magic resist early, and until you complete the whole Banshees Veil, it's not going to help that much. He can still obliterate pretty much anyone he wants on Skyline, Sans Mundo.
Well, let's see. So he's going to back off. Didn't want to 1v3 that battle. He's not Ackerman. Jezzy says, okay, Dragon's not up yet. It's actually in 45 seconds right here. Walks by a ward. There's a Jezzy. There's a ward right there.
It's dangerous, man. That takes 5 hits. That's a lot of time you have to commit.
It's true.
And they have no deep vision. Xiao could be anywhere. Ackerman could be anywhere. I'm scared. I don't want to kill that pink ward.
I mean, sure.
I guess.
I'd be scared too.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
In that situation. He's playing safe.
Playing safe. Well, he's only got 3 deaths.
Super safe.
MK Inc. going to take up the big golem right here. Evaniscus helping the team. And you got to say, so all of Skyline, they're still trying to keep up ward control, right? There's bottom jungle on the right-hand side, 3 wards there. They're grouped up on their side of the jungle. They've got wards so they can see if there's a Baron trap going on. They are still playing to win this game. They're still putting in the effort.
Of course they are, yeah.
22 minutes in. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
I'd say you have Gragas with a Death Cap Athenes. That's some pretty good burst right there. So pick up a Scrying Orb, and when LMQ go for Baron, you can try and steal it.
How many times are we going to say Scrying Orb in the challenge?
That's the last one, I swear. Last
All right,
one.
Jezzy getting locked up, slowed down. Kill comes in for more. And here's the chase on in. Can the kick happen? Gets Vasily. And there's more in the front lines as well. NK getting jumped on, down to half HP, rooted in place. The chase. The Gragas barrel is going to land. Can they take down Xiaowei? Xiaowei tries to jump away, gets shut down. And now more stuck in the back lines. Flashes the hook. Here comes No Name. Here comes Ackerman. 4 versus 3. Who's going to win this battle? Will it
Ackerman
be LMQ?
wants a piece.
Well, the jump gets actually knocked back by Support Daddy's play. Lantern comes in. Impactful tries to dodge away from this one. Ackerman still lower on health. No, they take down Impactful. Ezreal's been fallen. 3 versus 3. The chase in for No Name. Can they find Golden Glue? Yes, they will. Double kill for Ackerman. Fight goes to LMQ overall.
Now, the thing that I talked about, how a lot of these challenger teams that are so far ahead of their opponents end the game by split pushing all 3 lanes at once and try and farm everywhere, including the jungle. Woo. NK's on to run for his life here. Oh, the flash! And he doesn't get him!
The jump to the ward. The hook's not going to go anywhere. NK likely to die. Evan just should have let his teammate just die. Why even help?
He lived for another few seconds there. NK got to run around, get some extra exercise. But, man, the challenger teams that get super far ahead, they open themselves up to letting the other team come back when they split like that. And they try and just get money everywhere on the map at the same time. But LMQ are so far ahead, it's going to be a very, very tall order to steal this Baron.
That's going to be Baron going down. Jezzy following suit as well. Solo kill, actually, by Xiaowei Xiao. No assist, just one shot that poor little Mundo. Forgot this ult to help him, actually. Lowered his health.
These guys are relentless.
Yes.
Now they're actually grouping up. Some people did get caught out, so they're not going to let that happen again. We've got Baron buff. Run straight up the middle here. Make them pay for it.
I mean, who better to go for Relentless Pursuit than Lucian? It's his E. It resets on kill. Got to go for it. You got to follow up in the skill names. Ackerman's going to cull the Meek. He's very ruthless this game. You can tell. 5-1 and 4. Xiao
he got the
gets the kill again. The second solo kill he's gotten in a row. 11-3 and 5. Vasily knocked well into the team. Ackerman front lines now as well. They go for the turret though. Inhib turret goes down. 25 minutes in. 25-8 in kills. LMQ looking really good in this one. Likely to win.
Yeah, this is a brutal game. Now, you have to be scared anytime a team pops those wards over the wall and they're on the inhibitor turret siege. Especially if they have the burst like that.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Don't care where you arcane shift, because he was able to get all the spells out first.
Yep. DFGQR did enough. He's massive.
That's why people talk about how hard LeBlanc is to play, because you actually need really, really... Well, they're going for the calling on to Evaniscus.
Support Daddy's going to go down at the last possible second. Ackerman on a rampage, and that is game 1 right there. LMQ 26 minutes in, 27 kills.
That was fast, brutal game right there. I almost feel bad.
That's harsh. LMQ did a really good job. I feel good for
game 2,
LMQ.
Though. There's a best of 3.
Yeah, it is.
We got another game coming up.
And maybe a second one after that. Third one after that.
At least one.
At least one more game coming up. At most 2.
There's a second one coming after this second one?
Yeah. Well, we have one game coming up and then a second, if that makes sense.
It would work. I'll give it to you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm still right, as usual.
Let's go
Toby.
over why that game was so one-sided.
Okay. So...
What you got?
The lanes all won. Well, the lanes all won by their own.
NK Inc. got set real far behind real early.
He did. Yeah, he did.
So him putting that trinket ward in the river that early, he didn't expect so much aggression.
Yeah.
But as soon as the Chinese team saw him there, immediately Xiao Xiao levels up Chain. He starts Chain on LeBlanc because they know they're going to go for that kill.
Yep.
Boom. Lands the snare.
Yeah.
And NK trying to save his flash because they're not used to this early aggression. All of the early games have been very passive. Everyone just line up at the river and stare across at your enemy. Maybe throw some cleavers. Yeah, exactly. It's all very PC in North America. But the LMQ team did not let him get away from it. And I feel like that, having their jungler that far behind early, really took a lot of heart out of Skyline, especially since NK is such a big part of the team and he makes all the plays.
Yeah, he is. He's a great smiter. Yeah, you're right. Like, he could have just, like, flashed the first half of the chain. And then he got CC just, like, root, stun, like, gone.
A lot of players value their summoners so much more than the early First Blood with the reduced value.
Yeah.
But he ended up being so far behind because they followed up the kill with a steal.
Yeah.
So even the Chinese team, even at level 1, if you get a kill, follow up with some sort of objective, some sort of pressure.
Yeah.
And leaving the wards behind them also basically negated the counter from NK, which was going to be to come back to the blue and Smite steal that away. So
Exactly.
I just have to say, from the opening seconds of this game, LMQ pretty much with an amazing plan and amazing execution for sure.
Yeah, they played it incredibly, incredibly well. I got to say, these guys put up a good game. Thinking of everything else that happened, there were some good roams, though, from Golden Blue in particular, right? Like, you got behind early, you lost some buffs, whatever. These guys still came back, found kills. They took down Vasily and Moore a couple of times. Skyline have the glimmers of hope. I would like to see them not get super far behind early, and I'd like to see them hold up in their lanes a bit better, because they relied on team play to do anything.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely love a better start for these guys, just so we see a more balanced game.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do it, guys. We've got to take a quick break, but when you return, it's time for the second game in this Challenger Series semifinal. Skyline vs. LMQ Part 2 is coming up right after this.